Bring it on. Want some, get some. Can I get a hell yeah? Yes, I am a pirate. You have to go with the pirates because, of course, they have cannons and everything. It's a pirate's life for me. Be proud of who you are and what you are. You pirate. It is a first down. Pirates. Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. Well, you don't coach at East Carolina. You don't come to East Carolina. You don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it. I think I've ever been in a building as loud as that was. It was deafening in there. You will get Omaha. I can promise you that. And it's purple all night long in Eastern North Carolina.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down of my soul, and I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode.
All right, welcome into the Pirate Football Playback here on a rainy, dreary Eastern North Carolina night, at least from where I am. And welcome in. Pirates lose heartbreaker 26-19 last, feels like a week ago, Thursday night. And with us right now, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle from LaGrange Barber, our staff meteorologist. Is it raining your way?
It was a cool, spooky October night.
Oh, my God.
And it was misting and windy outside. No, that was, it's misty. I went outside early. I've been walking a lot. I went outside earlier and walked 6 laps in the mist and wind and rain. I felt like Rocky. It was cool.
Yo, where'd you in?
Did some shadow boxing.
Joey!
I actually had chicken parmesan to make it more authentic. Stevie. Matt, I almost sent you a picture of it to see if you approved.
Nice. Send it up.
I've already eaten it now, so I'd have to throw it back up and
send it up. Yeah, don't tell them to send it up.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
I got some left. I'll send you it tomorrow at lunch.
From the Logan era, former linebacker for Coach Steve Logan, Matt Semenza. How are you, sir?
What's going on, guys? I'll tell you a lot to, as I've said a few times in pre-show, a lot to unpack with this game from Thursday night. It's like, remember Bill Parcells, guys, the great Bill Parcells. He always said, "You are what your record says you are." And right now we're a 3-3 team. We are an average American Conference football team right now, and we have got to find a way to win these tight football games to make this a successful year. So a lot to unpack. Looking forward to it.
All right, Johnny Robertson, what's up? Johnny's stats?
What's up, fellas? Man, these Thursday games, by the time Sunday rolls around, it seems like that game was like a week ago. But this, like Matt said, there's plenty to talk about. We got another Thursday game coming up.
And thank God they're over.
And then thank you, Cal. And then we can go back to Saturdays. What's up, Stevie?
What's up, JR? How's everything?
Good.
Yeah, it felt like a carbon copy almost of the NC State game. The defense holding the low down for the whole first half, keeping us in the game. The offense just had a horrible first half. Started to come around the second half, but, losing a heartbreaker like that. I'm like Matt. You got to find a way to win these kind of games and get over the hump. And, just hate to see them lose it. One half of football, if that offense just comes around a little bit in the first half, we win that game, I believe.
Even, and we'll talk about it more and more, even with the first half. If we punch it in on that 3rd and 1 with, I don't know how much time was left in that at that point, around 4 to 5 minutes. 4th and 1, I'm sorry, third and goal.
Yeah.
From the 1. And if we punch it in there, there's no guarantee we win. But then Tulane's got to drive the field and score a touchdown to beat us rather than it being tied.
Right.
And then, and it's a lot different. You play a lot different, as a quarterback, as you play tighter. So I would, who knows, we might have lost anyway, but sure would have liked to have seen what would have happened had we got it in there. But we'll talk about that play more later in the show.
Hey, guys, one of the things I wanted to say, too, is that, Matt, I was thinking about you with Coach Logan. Coach Logan used to always say field goals are -4. You should get a touchdown there, and you get a lot of. You look at Tulane, and they had literally they could have been up to 35-0 on us. They could have had 5 touchdowns in that first half, and you find it yourself only down 12-0. And I was thinking about Coach Logan there, a lot of -4s, and then that crazy. Did you guys? I want you to get your thoughts too before I forget. That fake field goal down there near the goal line. It was the second or third drive they had in the first quarter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
was
understand that call.
Well, I understood it from an aggressive standpoint because they didn't want to go down there and get 6 2 times in a row. But it was a long distance to make that. You couldn't pick up a first down. You had to. If there was a situation like when we faked it against Army, where you could pick up a first down, but he had to score. He had to get in the end zone, and we played it perfectly. We forced him out of bounds. Didn't like it, and then didn't like the play call. If you're going to run that there, you got to throw the ball. You can't expect your holder to run that from there all the way to the end zone, with the speed we have on defense. So I understood why he did it. I didn't like the execution of it or the call there. I will say this for Blake Harrell's credit. When we fake stuff, we've done it nice. We've done it nice. We've executed it well, and we've called it at the right times.
I'll tell you this, guys. Dave was talking about they should have been up 35-0. It was good to see. I guess that's the way I want to put it. A team besides us shoot themselves in the foot on like 3rd and goal or 3rd and 1 and get because it was almost like clockwork every time Tulane got in the red zone, especially down there like first, second and goal. They would get a false start penalty every time in that first half.
Yeah, our game plan, if you look on defense, and Matt, I'm sure it was obvious to you, it was to keep everything in front of us. If they gain 10 yards, if they gain 12 yards, play zone, which we don't do a lot of, and then tighten up in the red zone because Tulane, the way they've been beating people, is scrambling their quarterback. And so it worked to perfection. We bent but not broke.
Yeah.
But on that last drive, I was screaming and texting the group, blitz, bring pressure. If you keep playing back, we're going to lose, because they ended up scoring a touchdown, which shocked me. I can't believe they threw there, but they said they were just going to bleed the clock and put the best kicker in the league in to kick the winning field goal. So at that point in time, I have no idea why Blake Harrell and Josh Aldridge didn't change at that point. Yes, your game plan has worked all day, but on that last drive, it was time to blitz, baby, blitz. And for the life of me, I don't know why we didn't do it, because I knew they were going to score. I knew they were going to at least get 3. So I didn't give a shit if they got a touchdown and they beat us over the top, or they broke one off for a big gain, because in my opinion, the faster they scored, the faster we got the ball back, because I knew they were going to get it down the red zone and at least get a field goal. So I didn't care if they scored. I would have blitzed. I would have completely changed what I was doing on that last possession. That ain't second guessing. That's first guessing, because I don't know how much you guys were paying attention in that text group with Bubba and Matt and JR. But I was screaming, if you guys remember the last drive, blitz. If we keep playing back, they're going to beat us.
I don't know, because I wasn't involved. Y'all don't text me anymore during games, so.
We got 2 different groups, Dave. We got the podcast group, and then we have just a football discussion group, and not everybody's in that. So don't feel like the Lone Ranger.
I am the Lone Ranger, apparently. But anyway,
just kind of go back to the defense for a second, guys. Like I've been, I read a million articles, and I've, read all the message boards, and I think like one thing I keep hearing about the defense in particular is that, the defense played well and really held up in the red zone. And when you really look at it, I thought this was the worst defensive performance of the season, guys. I did not think we played well at all. I thought the only thing that stopped Tulane in the first half was Tulane. I thought we got really lucky with some penalties that they committed down there inside the 10-yard line. But schematically, it was awful. I mean, the defensive performance was really bad. And I'll just start. You look at, in terms of the pass rush was non-existent. Very soft coverage. I mean, very soft coverage. Like, there were times when our corners were 10 yards off and Tulane was running a 5-yard hitch and our corners were still in a back pedal. when they were catching the ball. Now think about that for a second. So really, really soft corners, guys just running through the defense. I watched a lot of football this weekend. I didn't see. I felt like our secondary was just letting people run through the defense more than anybody I saw all weekend. I mean, receivers wide open. We had chances to make some plays. We couldn't do it. So I just thought it was a terrible performance by the defense and offense too. But I've been very supportive of the defense all year. And look, they've played fantastic for most of the season. At some point, they were going to have a bad performance. And I thought the other night was just that. I thought it was a bad performance. And schematically, we need to clean some things up because there's just no way receivers should be running through your defense like that wide open. So it was very frustrating to watch. And thank God Tulane kept us in the game with some of those penalties.
Matt, I think a bit of that was by design, not to let them run through the secondary like that, but we didn't bring pressure all night. And when we don't bring pressure, our pass coverage just isn't very good. And we were scared to bring pressure because of what Tulane likes to do with their quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think it worked. I know what you're saying, but the game plan worked. Now, where I think we screwed up was we didn't deviate from that on that last possession. At that point, we needed to start blitzing everybody.
Yeah. Hey, you know what the problem was? First downs. I mean, they averaged 9.4 yards on first down. In the first quarter, they had 9 plays of 11 yards or longer passing the ball. So they decided, hey, we don't need to run. We're just going to keep passing. But the good thing about our defense is when it came to third down, if we could get them there, they were 0 for 7 through the first 3 quarters. They had 0 passing yards on third down in the first 3 quarters, 0 first downs. And then in the fourth quarter, and Kyle, when you send them, let's blitz, I agreed with you because they were having their way with us. The last 3 third downs they had in the fourth quarter, every one of them they converted via the pass. And we just, like Matt said, the cushion was so large that we were just making them extra easy for them, more easy than we should have. And that was the downfall, that fourth quarter, not being able to stop them on third downs, in my opinion.
I agree. And I don't know why at that point we didn't change the game plan, because I'll say it again. At that point, it didn't matter if you got in the red zone because all they needed was a field goal to beat us. And, they had the best kicker in the league. So I don't know why at that point we didn't become more aggressive. But it is what it is. I'm not really worried about the defense. If this becomes a trend where we give up big pass yardage, I'll be worried, but I don't think it will. So I'm not really worried about it. We'll know more after Thursday night against Tulsa. But, my biggest thing about this game ain't nothing to do with the defense, it's the offense. And I know Tulane's got one hell of a defense, and and one of the reasons we didn't throw deep more is because if you look early in that game before we got the run established, and good job getting the run established by the offense, they were getting pressure on Hauser like crazy. Now, after we got the run established, I don't know why we didn't take more deep shots. We have got to start taking more deep shots in general. Holton talked about it the other night, and I agree. Hauser throws the deep ball well. We got receivers that can catch the deep ball. I don't know why we're not taking more deep shots. I don't know. I think maybe we found something in the running game, particularly with the young kid. Guys, help me out.
Engelman.
Do you guys think Engelman, he's going to get more carries? You don't think they'd start him this week, do you?
No.
I think,
you got to, like we've talked before, you've got to start narrowing down this running back core a little bit more.
I think, dude, after the other night, my 2 primary, and maybe, Engelman needs to show it again, but I think Engelman and
Marlon
Gunn.
Yeah, and I like Montgomery, but he's just inconsistent. Parker Jenkins isn't bad, but at this point, I think Parker's the worst of the 4 backs. And that's disappointing to me. And I do think Parker could contribute. I don't think he's somebody that doesn't need to see the field, but I think you need to see Engelman have more carries and probably Gunn have more carries. You're getting too big of a rotation here at running back. You're growing it even more with Engelman, but I believe I'd let Engelman get maybe Parker's carries because he looked really good the other night, and he's looked good at other times this year. It was guys, help me out here. He had a big game against Coastal or either Campbell too, right?
I think it was
Yeah, Campbell for sure.
Campbell, yeah,
he got
Campbell.
Campbell. He got in there for I think for the first time, really.
Yeah,
I thought he had
And
some good runs against Coastal too. Maybe
I
I'm
think
wrong.
he did, Kyle.
So
Yeah, he
I
came
think
in.
I mean,
Macy came in too, but then he got hurt against Coastal. So
yeah.
you look at the carries. I mean, we had 43 carries all night. And granted, Hauser had 8, but Gunn had 10, Engelman had 10, Montgomery had 9, Jenkins had 6. I mean, I know you're trying to spread the ball around a little bit, but some of these guys, like Gunn the other night, 10 carries for 52 yards. He attacked the line. He was attacking the line. He was hitting the holes. That's the kind of thing you got to do with this kind of offense. You got to hit the holes. You can't dance around. I mean, Gunn looked like he really wanted it the other night more than any of the other backs.
And he's from Louisiana, so I'm sure he was playing extra hard. But he's got to continue that against Tulsa. It doesn't matter if you're playing against Tulane or another Louisiana school, or if you're playing against Charlotte or whoever. We need that kind of effort out of Gunn again this week. We need to. We're 16.5-point favorites against Tulsa, which I think that line's too big. I hope we cover it. I'd like to see us cover it, come out with a dominant performance, but at the same time, we need to win a close game. And certainly, I don't want this to be a close game, but we got to win a close game at some point because, in Philadelphia against Temple, that's going to be a close one. If you're going to beat Memphis here in Greenville in a few weeks, that's going to be a close one. UTSA, they beat the dog mess out of Rice last night. FAU, they beat the dog mess out of UAB. Of course, I think maybe the Martin County Gators or North Lenore could beat the dog crap out of UAB. That's why they fired Trent Dilford. But by the way, if you haven't heard, for our listeners, Trent Dilford, UAB head coach, was fired. So anyway, the point of what I'm saying is, we got some tough games left on the schedule. Anybody who thinks, it's a cakewalk from here on out, no. We're 16.5-point favorites against Tulsa. Historically, Tulsa plays us really close. Like, the series all time is 9-9. The average score of that game is something like, I looked it up the other day, it's something like 23-22 if you average the all-time score. So it is typically a very close game with Tulsa. So, and then you got Temple, who's one of the most improved teams in the country. Memphis is, top 25. UTSA gets better every week. Florida Atlantic's getting better every week. And then Charlotte, they're the drizzling shits, but we're going to be their Super Bowl. So it's not an easy schedule from here on out. And, we could be a 7, 8, 9 win team, or we could be a 5-7, 6-6 type team, which would, next year, if we do that, suddenly Blake Harrell's on the hot seat because he's on a 4-year deal. So after this year, next year, it's going to be win or go. So he'll have 2 years left after next year. It's going to come fast.
I agree. Hey, Kyle, in regards to the schedule, though, I wanted to throw in there Temple. They have a resurgence. Evan Simon is one of the best quarterbacks in the country now. I mean, he had 345.
He doesn't like have a very big arm, JR.
No, but he has not thrown an interception. There are only one or two teams that have not thrown an interception. He's got 13 touchdowns, no interceptions, and their defense has been playing better. UTSA, they set a program high record with 61 points against Rice. The defense scored 2 touchdowns and a safety in the third quarter alone. I mean, Rice had 98 total yards. So UTSA, I mean, maybe they're starting to find themselves. Blake Horvath, we know what he can do. We don't have to play Navy. And Charlotte, though. Charlotte, they're just, like you said, they're drizzling shits, however you want to term that. But we can't overlook them. And then one final thing. UAB really didn't play so bad yesterday. They lost by 20. But Kitna had a great game. But they had 14 penalties for 118 yards. I mean, you cannot win like that. And I don't know if you all know this or not, but when UAB played at Tennessee, they were talking about firing him after that game because he was taking pictures of the crowd during the kickoff. Like he had his iPhone out, scanning the stadium.
It was a terrible hire. Look, their interim head coach that was there, who's at Monroe now, did a good job, and he's done a good job now. I think yesterday Monroe lost to Coastal, but up to that point, Monroe had been playing well. So I don't know. It was a bad decision, in my opinion, not to just retain him. I don't know if Bill Clark, how his health is, if he has any interest in getting back into coaching. Would he come back to UAB? Or who are they going to look at? Is there an SEC assistant? I don't know, but I hope this trend of hiring NFL players as head coaches just because they were NFL players is over. Because you got Deshaun out at UCLA.
Foster
didn't work out, and then Trent Dilford didn't work out. And I'm not saying there's some NFL players that wouldn't make great head coaches, but you can't just hire them because they're NFL players. I mean, Trent Dilford, if I remember correctly, he was a friggin' high school coach. They didn't even hire him from a
Yeah,
college.
but
He wasn't
at a
that
very
good in college, in high school either.
no, he was in Tennessee and he was winning state championships, and that's a whole different game, though. I mean, that doesn't transfer. Those coaching
Right.
abilities don't transfer to this level.
correct.
Well, I mean, every now and then. I mean, you got we were just talking about UCSA, Jeff Tedford, but it's few and far between.
Yeah.
Now, guys,
That's-
wanted to, being that it's halfway through the season, wanted to get your thoughts on. I'd ask it last week, but want to get your thoughts on giving. Let's start out with Matt. I'm gonna go back through my notes here. Hang on one second. There we go. We're going to school now, Matt, and you are the teacher and you're grading. You're the professor, and I want to get you. We're going to go to the football school. I want to get your grades on what you think as far as this team. We're halfway through the season, so this is like our midterm. Grading the midterm. What do you think about? We'll go around the horn. I want to start with Matt. What do you think about grade as far as the mid-season report?
So overall as a team,
Well, they have offense,
or offense, defense, or overall as a
special
team?
teams, discipline, and coaching.
I mean, I would say a C. I think defensively, I would give it a B. Offensively, I would give it probably a C minus. Really, when I look at this team, in particular offensively, I feel like this is a team that's underachieving, and I think a lot of that falls back to whatever is going on, with JDB this year. I haven't been able to get my finger on the pulse of what he's trying to do offensively this year. So it's been very sloppy. It's been undisciplined at times. You look at last week against Tulane, guys. Yannick Smith had 3 touches.
Yeah.
Think about that. As a coach, you can't allow that to happen.
Right.
So very frustrating. So I would say a C overall. It's an average team. That's when you really break it down. We're a team that should be a little better, but we're playing like a very average team.
Yeah, it's offense, defense, special teams, discipline as far as penalties, and coaching are the 5 categories.
Okay. I mean, offense for me, I'm going to give them a B minus just because I've seen their potential, but they don't know what they want to do. I mean, it seems to be a different script every game. And also, speaking of scripts, it seems like at the beginning of the game we're at our worst, and we should be at our best offensively because those are scripted plays apparently. But we had 8 total yards against NC State after the first quarter. We had 4 total yards after the first quarter against Tulane. Yeah. And BYU, we had 3 points at halftime. You just can't expect to beat better teams when you just are only playing 2 quarters of offensive football. So
our offense just doesn't have an identity right now. It's all over the place. And I mean, offenses are supposed to have identity. Say like, this is what this team does when they win. And we don't have that right now.
No, Stevie, did you want to give your grades?
As far as the offense, I'm good with a C on offense.
Yeah.
Defense. I mean, this is the defense that we were all talking about was going to be
horrible.
The Achilles heel of this team all year long. I give them a B+ right now. Special teams after the punting fiasco of this past game, I'll give them like a C- for that. But Yeah, I'm like Matt. We're an average team right now. We need to figure out how to be above average.
The way adding to your point, Stevie, the way I agree with you guys wholeheartedly, the way that we become above average is the offense. The offense has been so disappointing, and Matt, when you were talking about underachieving, it's exactly what the offense has definitely been underachieving, and some may argue that the defense is overachieving, but I think the defense was much better than we thought, and maybe we hyped up the offense too much. But
There's really no reason other than maybe some offensive line issues that the offense should be this bad. A lot of this is on play calling. I don't. We're so focused on going fast that there's more to friggin' offense than just going fast. I don't know why we're not getting the plays. The biggest thing we're not doing is getting the ball in our playmakers' hands. Anthony Smith needs to have more touches. Xavier Smith needs to have more touches. Brock Spalding needs to have more touches. We got to get the ball in our playmakers' hands, and you just get it in their hands. Just get it in their hands any way you can, and let them make plays.
I mean,
I
know I'm just a volunteer high school football coach, but if I've got a guy that last week had a monster game on offense,
yep,
I'm gonna be looking to try to get the ball in that guy's hand and say, okay, let's see what you can do this week. You had a great game last week. Let's get you going this week too. It's almost like you have a great game one week, and then the next week they don't even try to throw the ball to him, or they don't even try to get him involved. I mean, just like Kyle, you brought up on the fifth quarter of the night about Petaway getting the ball down there, and you want him to get the ball,
That was
but
JR.
not that play call. You did it too, didn't you?
No, it was JR.
Okay, well, JR, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I compared you to Kyle, JR. Sorry.
That's okay.
But yeah,
For you, Stevie.
I got to take a jab at you.
No
But,
problem.
yeah,
Hey,
why you
go ahead,
put
Stevie.
Petaway in that situation? Petaway is a speed guy. You don't want Petaway.
Petaway so far, I'm sorry, but we're paying Petaway, and I don't want to take a shot at players. Petaway so far has been absolutely nothing. And I don't mean it as a human being, but as a football player, I'm challenging him. You transfer here from Oklahoma because you want to make plays, and you done jack all of shit. Anytime you've gotten the ball in your hand, you haven't made a play. And either he needs to start making plays, or he needs to see the bench and stay there. Because I can't think of one friggin' play he's made all year. And he's got talent, but like JR mentioned, why he didn't like the play call at all of getting the ball in Petaway's hands. That I don't know if JR's problem was getting the ball in Petaway's hands, or if it was, maybe I did mention it too, Stevie. I don't know.
It was
I
third
think
and
my
4.
thought in general was just, why was Petaway touching the ball there? JR was more specifically the play call.
Yeah.
It was 3rd and 4 on the 14 in the red zone, and we threw a bubble screen to him 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
They had great pursuit, and that dude is not going to break any tackles or run anybody over.
If you're going to do that, throw it to Brock.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
JR, if you can, I'm sorry, JR, but if you can, sometime, I know you're the master of stats. See how many targets Petaway has had this year that was not a bubble screen? Because it seems every time they target him, it's a bubble
screen. That's correct, Stevie.
I just wanted to say one thing about the offense before we close out. I have 3 good things to say about the offense, believe it or not.
All right.
Against Tulane. Number one, I struggle with his last name, Terlavsky. This is the first time ever that a Pirate lineman has had the highest grade in both pass blocking and run blocking, and he did that. And I mean, no one has done that. No one's even come close to doing it. So maybe he's gonna keep it up the rest of the way. And my second thing was, what was it, 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, when Hauser went under center and then quick snapped it, and we got the first down. Where was that? The previous 5 games. That was an awesome call.
Yeah, I agree
thought
with
the O line in the second half. First of all, I think we did a good job establishing the run. I hope we can build on that. If we can build on that, I think the offense will be a lot better. Just period. And two, we haven't seen that kind of pressure from anybody on the blitz like we did in the first half against Tulane. I think that can only make our offensive line better. I feel like, do you guys agree with this, Matt? Do you think that game with being able to establish the run late and then having to protect Hauser after giving up some sacks early should help make this offensive line better as the season goes?
You would certainly hope so. You would certainly hope so. It's and you see glimpses of the O line and the running game where you think you can take from it, but it's so inconsistent, sort of, not even game from game, but quarter to quarter and half from half. But you got to hope that at some point it starts to click, and you could pull from it. But I do think you got to have the same combination on the field, and you got to establish 1 or 2 running backs and really stick with them to maximize it.
Agree.
I want to get you guys as far as we talk about I do about the 4 different parts of a season. So Kyle, I wanted to bring you in on this because this is something that we were talking about a few weeks ago. We went 2-1 the first part. The second part was we just finished up. We went 1-2, and I specifically remember you talking about that. Even if we go 1-2, we're 3-3. And I'm gonna give you guys a scenario right now. So we are favored. I'm not saying, we can lose all 3 of these games, but I have a feeling, and I'm just gonna go out on a limb here, that we're gonna win all 3. And I'm gonna tell you, check this out. We have Tulsa Thursday night. We're a favorite there. I feel good about that game, even if we don't cover. Then we have the bye week, another bye week, strangely enough, the way that we have more teams in the conference. Yes, you do play at Temple. I think that's going to be a close game, but I think we win that one. And then, Matt, not to say this sarcastically, not to hurt your feelings, but we could be bowl eligible by beating Charlotte November 8th. So not that it will happen, but I feel like this third part of the schedule. And another thing, speaking of guys challenging, when we have an average team like we're talking about right now, here's the way to get back in the conversation of being slightly above average, at least if you can win all 3.
Yeah. Temple is going to be well, first of all, let's focus on Tulsa. You can't overlook Tulsa. Tulsa historically plays us close. They've had an off week to get ready for us. Their defense isn't horrible. Their offense hasn't played very good this year. But you can't overlook Tulsa. But after that, off week before Temple, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because, you look against NC State after having all that time to prepare. First game of the year, we played horrible the first half on offense. Off week against Tulane, come out and play flat on offense. So I don't know if having off week before Temple is a good thing or not. Now, I do think Temple could be tired. And again, I don't want to look ahead because it sounds like we're looking past Tulsa.
No, I'm not.
But I will say this. Temple played UTSA, Navy. Now they got Charlotte, Tulsa, all before they play us. We got one Thursday night game against Tulsa, and then we're off all the way till we play them again. So that could be a very tired Temple football team when we play them.
Mm-hmm.
And we could be well rested. So that could play in our favor. But first things first is Tulsa. To your point, in a perfect world, we'll be playing for bowl eligibility against Charlotte. But, a lot of football to be played between now and then, but that is an opportunity, to if that happens and we do it, that'd be a big one against Charlotte because we owe them,
right?
And to get bowl eligible against them, it would be huge. By the way, all the people that are commenting, we're kind of doing it a little different here. In a couple minutes, we're going to take all your comments all at once and kind of have a question and answer segment. So for all our listeners, we're not ignoring your comments. We're going to get to them here in just a couple minutes. But you get bowl eligible against Charlotte if it plays out that way, and that's a lot of ifs and buts and fruits and nuts. And you know what they say about ifs and buts and fruits and nuts? Y'all have a Merry Christmas. So if that happens, that sets up a monster matchup with Memphis. a chance for a special moment in Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium.
Right.
But first things first, Tulsa Golden Hurricane come to town, and I damn sure ain't looking past them.
No.
You think about some of the classics we played against Tulsa. The Hail Mary game in 2010 last year. As bad as Tulsa was last year, down on the road on a Thursday night, it took a fourth quarter comeback, and then us beating them. They had it, first and goal from like the 10, and we stopped them on 4 straight drives to tie that game up, or 4 straight, possession, or you know what I mean, to tie the game up. If you guys remember that game, so that's just 2 examples. So Tulsa's typically a tough game. I know this year we're 16.5-point favorites. I don't expect. I wouldn't take us to cover this one. I expect this game. I think we're going to win it, and I don't think it's going to be a 1-point game. I see this game as we've got a touchdown lead in the 4th, kind of holding on to it, taking a knee to run the clock out kind of game. But who knows? I hope we cover. I hope we win it by 16 or more. But I don't want to look. The point of your question, Dave, and I've kind of got off of rambling here. You asked about the next 3 and the next quarter of the season, so to speak. I don't want to look past Tulsa.
No, I'm not trying. Let me be very clear. I'm not trying to look past Tulsa. My point is, including in our the notes that we made for you guys tonight, the computer even talked about how the schedule. It is getting, and this is what the word is on. Let me get back there. I'm looking at them. It's actually talking about how the schedule is getting softer.
Disagree 100%.
Well,
I mean, maybe 2 out of the next 3 on paper, but Temple ain't soft. Memphis ain't soft. UTSA ain't soft. Florida Atlantic ain't soft. I think maybe 2 out of the next 3, potentially with Tulsa and Charlotte. But if Chat GTP or the computer thinks Temple is soft, they clearly hadn't watched Temple play the last couple.
No, I think what it's saying, it didn't say like Cupcake City. Is saying that compared to what we had the first half of the season, I think you would have to agree with that. Memphis is probably going to be the only game that we're not favored in.
I disagree, Dave. I don't think we're automatically favored at Temple. I just don't.
No.
Unless something bad happens this weekend. Something bad happens to Temple this weekend.
No, on the road, Temple's got 2 games. If they blow out Temple and Charlotte, if they out Charlotte and Tulsa these next 2 weeks, I can see Temple as a favorite in that game.
We
always
have a hard time with Temple anyway, especially on the road.
Yeah, and then on the road at UTSA and on the road at Florida Atlantic. I hate that schedule. I hate that our final home game is Memphis, and then you go 2 back-to-back road games against UTSA and Florida Atlantic to close the season. So I get it from you look at it standpoint, and even a couple weeks ago you would have said, yeah, okay, the schedule's going to get easier, but I really don't think it is now. I think when you look at it, I no, there's not a BYU, but Memphis is arguably the best team we're going to play all year. Temple, are they as good as Tulane? No, but they're good. Tulsa, Charlotte should be wins, but then you got UTSA and Florida Atlantic, which are getting better every week, and maybe you put them as the equivalent of Army, except more talented. But we got to play them on the road. We don't get them at home. So I wish we got at least one of those 2 at home. This is going to be interesting. This season, as we see here today, as a 3-3 football team,
right?
This season could go one of 2 ways. We could be, competing for a conference championship, 8-9 win season, maybe 7, or it could go the other way and you're fighting for a bowl game. This is going to be interesting. But first things first, you got to beat Tulsa this week. And is Matt coming back, guys, or do we know? JR, Stevie, do you guys know?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was just saying that my main thing is not that I'm overlooking anyone, but when you have BYU, you have and their NC State, and you have Tulane all in the first 6 games compared to the second half. it's not saying that it's a cakewalk to get through the next 6 games, but compared to the first half of the season, it is getting softer. Maybe not like what you're taking it to as like.
Well, I mean, I would challenge that with I would come back with that is maybe all right. So let's say Memphis to BYU. Let's say that's a trade off, and then Tulane is just a step down from Tulane. Temple's a step down from Tulane, and then UTSA at this point, NC State. I'm not sure who's better at this point in the season. So then you look at the other 3. All right, so let's Army. Let's say Army to Florida Atlantic. You got to play Florida Atlantic on the road, so that's tougher. UTSA to Tulsa, or excuse me, UTSA to Coastal Carolina. I mean, so I'm rambling here. The first half, yes, we had BYU, Tulane, and State, but we also had Campbell, Coastal, and I think we caught Army at just the right time. So I don't know that it's any easier. It's just not as top heavy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we're saying essentially the same thing. It's just anyway. The fact of the matter is, just like we said, we'll focus on Tulsa. We need to get Dowdy Ficklin rocking in there. I know it's, and I absolutely despise. I hate Thursday night games. I know it's a television thing. I'm not a fan of Thursday night. I'll be there. I don't like Thursday night games because that means
one at home is fine. 2 is too many.
I mean, we've got 4 Thursday night games. It's ridiculous, but anyway,
I don't care how many we play on the road. Honestly, on the road is good exposure, and it doesn't really you freeze up your Saturday. At home, I don't want any more than 1 Thursday night game. I don't know. There's really not much we can do about it. But going forward, I would tell the conference and ESPN, could you please limit us to 1 Thursday night home game? Because unlike a lot of the other teams in this conference, we actually have fans.
Correct. That's part of my point because you look at the Tulsa game. Tulsa, if it's a Saturday game, you might have 40,000, 38, 40,000. We might have 25.
The low side 35, the high side 40 for Tulsa, and now on Thursday night, you're going to have 25 to 30.
Yeah, I mean,
I do think the students will show up because of the night of the Boneyard.
Yeah,
we haven't had a home game in a few weeks, so I feel like the students will be there for that at least.
Yeah, only having two games in the month of October is crazy. And then you have 5 in November, but it is what it is, and you only can play the people you can play and when you play them. And I'm not going to complain as far as the TV money that we get for it. So, guys, I did want to talk about too before I know we're running pretty good on time tonight. I just want to get y'all's thoughts on. We're going to talk about the James Franklin out at Penn State. So, Steve, are you taking that job?
I'm on the phone with him right now.
I quickly one more thing about the game before we move on to other topics, and we need to get to the listeners' questions. But the 4th and 1 play, or excuse me, I keep saying 4th and 1 play, 3rd and goal play from the 1.
Yeah.
That play, all right. So a lot of people want to blame John David Baker for subbing there. And he maybe don't sub there. Don't overthink it. Just get to the line and snap it. But there was no reason for that center to be snapping the ball with 22 seconds to go on the clock.
Right.
On the play clock. And disconcerting signals is what Hauser was saying is the reason they snapped it. I don't know what happened on that play, why he snapped that ball there. If you don't sub there, it doesn't happen. So I get why people were blaming Baker, but that's really on the center.
Way too.
Yeah. So it wasn't good. And that really, that play, I won't say it cost us the ball game, but
that was
it was a huge difference in what the outcome would have been.
Yeah, I felt like that's what's so frustrating, guys. And we talk about this about, Kyle, you make the great point all the time about we're so close. You can razor thin margin between being, say, a 5-7 team and an 8-4 team, and the breaks have to go a ways. But some of it is just simple mental mistakes. It's not something that where you're playing in a national championship game and you have the pressure of the world on you, right? These are, I'm not taking lightly for conference games. Don't misunderstand me, but I'm just saying that you're a Division I football player and you've got to put it together. Like Blake talks about, 1 out of 11, do your job, and don't try to do too much. I'm just wondering. I do agree with John David Baker. We had a question earlier, guys, about. Let me put this up. This is something that's driving me crazy. I keep asking, and nobody can answer this question for me. Maybe y'all can. We're going to have the Mike Wright package conversation or not? I agree. Mike Wright.
Every week
We talk about this. And the one criticism I have of John David Baker is you put your best athletes on the field. And unless maybe he doesn't know. I mean, I don't know, but I'm trying. That's the one that is really, really making me really angry, because that kid is great off the field. He's a smart dude. And also he's one hell of a playmaker. And okay, we know Hauser is quarterback one. We understand that. But there's certain situations where Mike Wright would be perfect to put in there. When we're talking about, we play a whole bunch of running backs, and I get that you don't want to play 2 quarterbacks and all that. However, I do believe if it's a difference between winning a game and losing a game, just like when we did the fake field goal against Army, hey, let's throw in some Mike Wright there, because to me, when you have that guy on the field, it's a mismatch for the other team. He's that good of a player, and that's why I just don't understand why he's not on the field in some capacity, because it's just very frustrating.
Yeah. Hey, before you take questions, I want to ask whoever's listening if anybody else noticed this, because I thought it played into our downfall on offense. Anyhow, we targeted Anthony Smith 7 times. He had 2 receptions, but I'm telling you, the cornerback for their cornerback, Shine, I think his name was Isaiah Shine, number 11.
Yeah.
That dude, he had perfect timing, but not really. He was early every single time, just by a fraction of a second, but it made the ball all but impossible to catch, and he never got flagged one time. He got credited with 4 pass breakups. He didn't get flagged once, but every single time he was early. And it's really difficult to catch a ball when you're getting your forearms mashed. So I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but that did not play in our favor at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt like you're making a great point, JR. Another thing I want to get y'all's take on to add to that, and then we'll go to the questions, is did you guys think that some of that is where when we're running routes, and I'm not a wide receiver, don't pretend to be, but did you guys think we were getting enough space between us being the receiver and the secondary, or the defense?
In what respect, Dave?
Well, I've heard that for some other fans, saying that we didn't get enough space. The receivers are not getting enough space. In other words, to be able to catch the ball. But I think some of that too is
separation. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the separation.
I think they had good coverage, but I mean, I trust our receivers. I say bullshit to that. Toss up a one-on-one ball. They're like Holton said, they're college corners. They're going to get PI half the time. I don't know why we don't do that more. When you got talented wide receivers, you can throw the deep ball. Even in close coverage, you're going to get PI calls. Keep going to it. Think about when Lincoln was here, all the PI calls, all the first downs we used to get from PI calls. So, I mean, I think that, whether our guys are getting enough separation or not, I don't. I think it's tough to get separation against good coverage. Tulane's got good corners. But you throw them up anyway. You trust your guys to go up and make a play.
Yeah, and that's another thing, is that Holton was good at that with C.J. Johnson and Winston. Those guys.
Hauser's good at that. Hauser throws the deep ball well. I don't know why we don't do it more.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I saw, and Stevie, I need to get your help on this one. I saw from Hauser, the disappointing part I saw from Hauser is there were some throws that, we can look at every game and critique, but there were some throws I saw in the game live. I haven't had a chance to go back and look at the game. He was throwing the ball just behind the receiver. And I know there's times when I'm not expecting him to throw a perfect ball every time, but it seemed like in this game there was more behind the receiver. If he throws the ball up in the air, like Kyle's talking about a 50-50 ball, the receiver actually has a chance to make a play on the ball. Maybe we get the PI, pass interference, but it felt like there was a lot of passes on Thursday night that were short. Did y'all see that, or maybe it's me?
Yeah. Well, I was wondering whether his wrist is really 100%. I mean, I think it is. I've been told it is, but yeah, he's just not. I was speaking to Tom Earnhardt, and he, he's very good at analyzing, games as well. And we had a discussion that he just doesn't look the same the last couple games. And John White said his deep balls are they're short a lot, and that is true. So I don't know what the issue is. I hope he's healthy. We saw him throw a great deep ball. I mean, we know he can do it, but for whatever reason, it's not. The last couple of games, it's not really been happening.
Well, how many deep balls did you see him throw against Tulane? I throw him to show him take a deep shot to Anthony Smith that he connected on, and then I think there was one more deep shot at some point in the second half, and then he threw the Hail Mary at the end.
Yeah, no, I'm not even talking about just deep shots. I'm talking about his overall
middle of the field,
his overall delivery,
or something like that, Johnny.
Yeah, and I'm a fan. I'm definitely a Caton Hauser fan, and I don't like to critique any player, to be honest with you. I just don't. They're out there doing their best for us, and I don't like to critique them. I'm just noticing something may not be quite right, and his wrist came to mind. I don't know.
Yeah, I know he's had wrist injury problems, and it could be an issue with his wrist.
The only thing I noticed with the throwing was it seems like when he's throwing these slants, a lot of them are high. Did y'all notice that the other night? They would do the quick slants. A lot of them were high.
Yeah.
I noticed it a couple times, yes. And I don't know why
dangerous.
That's rushing his throw to me is what that is.
Yeah.
So I don't. That could have been a pressure situation where he's rushing his throw. I don't know. If he's got a wrist injury, then I know Holton played through injury. I don't know. We'll know more. Like I say, we'll know more against Tulsa. There should be some opportunities in that Tulsa game to hit some deep balls, and we'll see if we can do it.
Hey, Stevie, I have an answer for you on Jaquez Petaway.
I knew I could count on you.
He has 10 receptions. 7 of them are behind the line of scrimmage. And
wow.
Yeah. Yep. For a total of 3 yards and 7 receptions behind the line. And then 2 of his receptions are between 1 and 9 yards. And he has a total of 12 yards in those 2 receptions. And then he has one. He had a big play. He had an 11-yard reception.
That's his longest reception is 11 yards, right?
Yeah.
Run those bubble screens with another receiver. Okay, I'm no offensive genius, but I'm just going to tell you, looking at those stats, stop doing that.
So this guy, what we talked about before the season started, how everybody was talking about he was a blazer. He was so fast. Why aren't we trying to get him down the middle of the field?
I agree.
Maybe he can't catch.
I'll bring up one name, and if you're a Steelers fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. Limas Swede.
Don't know. Don't
know him, Stevie.
He went to University of Texas back in the late 90s, early 2000. Well, maybe the mid 2000s. He came into Pittsburgh as they were just talking about how great he was going to be. Fast as lightning. Couldn't catch a cold.
Oh man. Wow. I hadn't heard that one in a long time. Wow. That's pretty bad. Well, I will tell you that he was one of the ones that, like Kyle said, Oklahoma. But here's the thing. When we put you on the field as a coach, you put a guy on the field, they've got to perform. If they don't, like Kyle said, they're not going to get playing time. And so there's plenty of kids like we were talking about earlier, the good problem we have in the running back room is because you've got a guy like Engelman. Like, wow, that kid is super fast. You've got Marlon Gunn that's healthy again. You look at Montgomery. I wanted this. I'm sorry. I was going to ask this earlier when we were talking about running backs, and I forgot. I'm sorry. Do you guys think Montgomery, does he have that vision of the field that, in other words, where he can make the cuts right? I don't
Well,
know.
that's something that Matt's talked about, and if Matt would have stayed or came back, it'd be a good time for him to chime in right now.
Yeah.
But Matt's talked about how it looks like to him that our running backs sometimes are not seeing the field right, that they're not being coached right to look for the open spots, that they're just being told to hit the hole and go. And so that is something that I would have loved for Matt to be here to break down.
Yeah,
But
Matt's qualified to make that determination. I am not, so I'm not even going to throw anything out there because I have no idea. Here's something interesting though with the running backs. I don't always trust Pro Football Focus. Sometimes I watch a player and I think he had a good game, and then I look at the score and it's not so good. But according to them, they have a new stat, and it's called It's called something like elusive running, and they rate Parker Jenkins number 1, London Montgomery number 2, Marlon Gunn number 3, and then a distant 4th. They have Engelman, and I see it a different way. I think Gunn breaks more tackles than anybody, and Parker Jenkins, I just don't see him being that elusive. So either I don't know what I'm looking at, or they got it wrong. I'm not quite sure.
And
I wouldn't put much stock in Pro Football Focus anyway.
Well, I was going to add,
I agree.
guys, I wanted to add to that too, Johnny. Did y'all notice with Marlon Gunn, one of the things when he's healthy, which this year he's had a tremendous spring, fall camp, and now the 2025 campaign. Have you guys noticed another thing I love about him is he falls forward. He has that natural ability, he falls forward, and that's going to give you another yard or two versus some of the other guys. I don't know. But to me, I know maybe I'm biased, but I've always been a big Marlon Gunn fan. Last year, it was obvious he was not healthy. This year, when they were giving him the ball, man, he was just pounding his way through, just like the Engelman is like more like I hate to compare, but he's more of the like a Keaton Mitchell, even though he's not Keaton Mitchell, don't get me wrong, but he's more of the fastback versus Marlon Gunn that's more of a bruiser. All right, do you guys want to move on to our the comments?
Yeah, I guess we can move on to the comments now.
All right, Kyle, you there?
Kyle's away.
Okay. All right.
I think Kyle's trying to get a hold of Matt.
Oh, okay. Got you. All right, let's go back to Ethan. Ethan says, were we trying to make Tulane sustain long drives, make mistakes, and then hold them to field goal? Because if so, it worked for the most part. The offense just didn't show up. That's back when we were talking about earlier in the show when we were talking about the offense.
That was our game plan. I don't know that it was to I don't know that it was to be, give up that many yards at a time. But our game plan was not to bring pressure, only blitz 3, play zone coverage, keep everything in front of us, because what their quarterback is known for is beating you with his legs. So you keep that in front of you.
Right.
And instead they took what we gave them, which was 10 and 15-yard passes, which were right there. And it worked. It worked. The only problem I had with it was in the fourth quarter late. I think we should have changed our philosophy and started blitzing more.
All right, let's see. We're going now. Kenny says, in the first half, the offense and the punters thought we were still in a bye week. Yeah, that was not.
I don't know what was going on with the punters. I do not know. I saw Blake Carroll lay into him on the sideline, which I was glad to see. I do not know what was going on with the punters. That was weird. I don't get that. That should never happen, particularly with 2 different punters.
Exactly.
It gave Tulane like 15 extra yards of field position every time we punted.
That was horrible.
Chuck says, just tuned in, disappointed in our OC.
you got to be at this point.
Ethan says, with our offensive line, you have to prioritize wiggle over power.
I mean, if you had a guy that that could make his own holes because of power, that was that that elite of a back, yes,
Keaton
but
Mitchell.
but yes, overall I agree. Yeah, Keaton Mitchell with that kind of speed, yes, wiggle room, go hit the line, go fast. But I don't know. Gunn is more of a power back. So I guess it depends. The way that our guys with the wiggle are not seeing the hole, and really, cutting. I don't know. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see what we do with the running backs going forward.
All right. Our good friend and alum of the show, Brendan Shapiro, newlywed, says, that was the weirdest game. I feel like Tulane executed the passing game against us really well, and we ran it better than them. Wasn't expecting that at all.
Well, again, I think that's what we gave them, and they were able to execute it. And we told them beat us with the passing game, and they did. And as far as us, we did run the ball well in the second half. I don't understand why we didn't play action more off of that, go more deep once we got the running game going. But we did run the ball well, and hopefully that leads to stuff going forward.
All right. Chuck says, question, do you think we used our second half timeouts too soon?
That's a pet peeve of mine.
I don't recall actually when they called them. So.
No, I don't either. I don't. Stevie, you said it's a pet peeve of yours. Did you know?
I don't remember when we used it, but I'm all about saving my timeouts as long as I can. I know you get in some situations where you have to burn one, but
they burned too early, didn't they? Or it feels like.
Well, if they did
I don't
that,
really remember.
I'll have to go back and.
I like to have at least two of mine going into the last part of the game.
Plus, I don't remember thanking God Almighty. I wish we had timeouts here. I don't know. I remember we got the ball back late on our last possession. I wish we had more timeouts. We should have let them score on that first passing game and had about 30 more seconds on the clock.
When that guy tackled him, and you should have let him score, and he tackled him on that one play.
Yeah,
I said that. I said that too. All right, Kenny says, we got to play a complete 4 quarters on offense. If we continue to only show up for 2 quarters, this season will go off the rails.
100%.
Yeah, I agree with Kenny. We need to see 4 quarters of offense, and we need to see it this Thursday against the Golden Hurricane.
All right, Chuck says, if Tulane wins next week and USF and Memphis hold serve, you could see 3 American teams in the top 25 next week. I was thinking about that earlier, Chuck.
Yeah.
I was looking at the new top 25 that's out today,
USF jumped Memphis
and Navy, and Navy also is knocking on the door.
That would be 4. Yep. Let's see. Chuck says his prediction is 7-5 or 8-4 for the season. He's going to say Matt would like this. We're going to play Duke in the Fenway Bowl, which will mean they'll be closer to Matt's house. So.
I hope he's right about 8-4, 7-5 is a possibility. At this point, man, I don't know. Get back to me and get back to me after the
next quarter of game.
I don't know.
We're in the third quarter.
Look, if we don't at least get to 6-6, if we don't win three of these next 3, Blake's job will be on the line next year. I'm going to put it out there. I'm not going to make any kind of official predictions on what we're going to do. Nothing would shock me. I don't think we'll go 9-3. I don't think we'll win out. 8-4 would not shock me at all. Neither would 6-6.
So somewhere in between. Ethan has a grade for the coaches. He says Blake a C+, Aldridge for the defense a B+, JDB for the offense a D.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The reason I don't, the reason Blake would get the grade he's getting is because ultimately it's his responsibility, and we're 3-3. I think if we had one more win, I'd give Blake a solid B+.
Agreed. Our friend Justin Butts said that was the most pissed off locker room I've ever seen. If I were Tulsa, I'd be worried.
Good. Good,
right.
good, Justin. Let's channel that. Let's channel Justin. Hopefully you ain't shooting us a line of bullshit. So let's hope we channel that into practice this week and take it out on Tulsa. Sometimes you can be too angry and you get it out too early.
Right.
So I hope Blake holds them back in practice this week and lets them let that kind of build and we take it out against Tulsa.
Yeah. Hey, that's good info, Justin. Because I know, he's one of the few people that would know that. So that's good stuff.
Right.
I don't trust Justin. Justin handed us some BS before. I don't know. I think
Yeah,
Justin likes to
he's
play
a
with us
referee,
sometimes.
man.
Yeah,
Just
I
a
know.
referee.
I
Yeah,
know.
good
I
for
know.
you, kid.
We can't
Yeah,
trust.
you can't trust him. You can't trust him.
John White, former pitcher for the Pirates, had agreed 100% on the possible issue. Slants are high, but his deep throws are underthrown. Go watch every game this year. He does not lead the ball out far enough. Go watch. That's when I was talking about him throwing behind. Short, he was
I see
throwing.
what he's saying. That the deep throws are underthrown. Like I can picture in my head against Army where, uh, oh shit, Anthony Smith
Yeah.
had to stop for that ball when that should have been he should have hit him in stride and it should have been 6. At the same time, they're accurate. While they may be underthrown a little, they're still accurate if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And look, if he's injured and he can't be effective, then play the other guy.
Play Mike Wright.
Yeah.
Robert says, I agree. Hauser is not as accurate as last year. Deep balls underthrown and a few overthrown. Let's see. John says the deep to a Smith was almost batted down because it was not led. Something is up with Hauser's arm. Alan says Eagleman has more pop. Robert says, not sure we had the time to go deep.
Is Vic going to be, is Alan Vic, not Michael, but is Alan Vic going to be at the press conference tomorrow, Dave?
He will. AV should be.
Yeah. Get him to ask, if you will, and if Alan doesn't mind, about is there anything going on with Hauser's arms that,
Or wrist.
Wrist, that it seems to, he may not be as accurate on some of the deep balls and stuff that he has in the past.
Yeah, he said he's definitely going to be there. All right, let's see.
Yeah, hit Alan. Alan, is Alan listening?
Yeah,
he's watching.
Alan Vic, if you will, however you want to word that, ask if there's anything going on with Hauser's wrist or arm, if you don't mind. It's a good question, and a lot of people wouldn't have the guts to ask it. I think you do, Alan.
We believe him.
it's a challenge.
Yeah, the analytics, as we talk about. Bill says it seems we never are able to rush the passer. Is it because we don't have the players, or is it up to only give up short passes?
We've been able to rush the passer just fine. We really just didn't try it against Tulane. We were only bringing 3.
Yeah, 3. Rush 3.
I agree, Kyle. We have 12 sacks on the year, and none of them against Tulane because, like Matt pointed it out, he brought it to my attention that, hey, why are they only rushing 3?
Because we didn't want to give up a big play in the run
because
game
we're worried about
quarterback.
Retzloff taking off because he was,
I get the game plan totally. I just wouldn't have done it on that last drive. I would have changed what I was doing.
No, it needed to, you're right, Kyle. We needed to switch things up at the end.
Here's something.
What they set out to do, they accomplished by keeping the quarterback in check. I mean, I think he had JR, what do you have, like 34 yards rushing?
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Not even that. Less than that.
Oh, well. Here's something I agree with Alan. There's something I'd like to see change in football. I think you should be able to roll over your timeouts. I think you should be given 6 per game to use any way you see fit. So only as you use 1 in the first half, you should have 5 in the second half. Just my opinion, I've always thought that's the way it should do with timeout.
Yeah, I wouldn't be in favor of carrying all 3 over, but let's say you don't use any in the first half, you can maybe carry 1 of those over to the second half. If you use any in the first half, you can't carry any over. What do y'all think?
If you get some high school officiating crews, they do that anyway for some teams. I
tell you what, they let Georgia call timeouts and then decide they don't want them.
Yeah. I can't imagine a team having 6 timeouts in the second half.
No, but if you don't use any in the first half, maybe you can carry 1 of those over. How about that Georgia game last night where Kirby called timeout and then decided he didn't want it because the play worked, and he said he was just clapping his hands. I was just clapping my hands.
I was watching that game, Kyle.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I went back and watched it. They screwed
Wow.
Auburn, man. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a blame. The Tulsa game in 2020 is the only time I've ever really looked at the officials. Did they intentionally screwed us? They intentionally screwed Auburn last night. That was bad.
Yeah.
And Auburn screwed themselves. I mean, they really did play well enough to win, but they had back-to-back. They had a targeting that was definitely a targeting.
Yeah, but that
And
one
then
touchdown play where they said that he stripped him, bullshit. He crossed the plane. That was a touchdown.
they had a rough in the passer back-to-back, gave Georgia the lead. But yeah, Auburn played well, but they didn't get any help at all.
In fact, Don says Georgia gets away with everything. LOL.
That's true.
Well, if you think about it, let's be honest. First of all, they want and I know that Justin, I love you, man, but the referees, it is what it is with them. But if you look at it, they want the same people in the playoff every year. And to me, if they were smart, they would want, yes, some of them naturally let it organically happen, because it's great when you see great stories of, like, for example, I was going to talk about games that y'all saw yesterday. For me, the Indiana game is a great story for college football. A great story for college football. In fact, as you guys know, in my top 5, Kurt Signetti, if Houston didn't get the job, he was the one that I wanted for the Pirates. And obviously, he did very well at James Madison.
Unfortunately, he wouldn't have been the one we hired, though.
No.
Yeah, we didn't get him. But
who we would have hired? He's at Arkansas State now.
Who's that?
Butch Jones.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about, for a Tennessee guy.
This is Indiana's highest ranking ever in the history of the school. So
Look, 2 things on what your point is, Dave. It's a good story out of Indiana. I was about to say Idaho, Indiana, competing for the college football playoffs. Auburn wasn't in that position yesterday, so I think if they were, they wouldn't have got screwed. They're just trying to make sure Georgia stays in that position, so the to get as many playoff teams in as they can, because they got to keep trace. They got to keep tack with the Big Ten. 2, I'm so sick of hearing about the stupid ass playoff. It is October. Would y'all? I don't mean y'all as in you 3. I mean, would ESPN shut up about the college football playoff? I am sick of hearing about the damn college football. A friend, I won't say who, he messaged after he lost Tulane. Well, the season's over. We can't make the college football playoff now. Kiss my ass. The season's not over. Look. Bowl games still matter. Games that matter week to week still matter. And all ESPN, yes, the playoff is expanding, and that's great. And we all wanted the playoff and blah, 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 blah. But when ESPN spends the whole friggin' season talking about nothing but the playoff, that means they're telling you games that don't involve teams that are in position to make the playoffs don't matter anymore. And that's not true. Because, look, for example, when we play Memphis, while we might not be in position to make the playoff now, when we play Memphis, we can keep them from making the playoff.
Right.
Plus we're still trying to make it to a bowl game. So I wish ESPN would take that playoff promotion and shove it up their ass sideways. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm so sick of hearing about it. That's all you hear about. The college football playoff coming, and shut the hell up. It is October. I've been hearing this shit since August. By the time the playoff gets here, I'm sick of hearing about it.
I got you. Hey, Kyle, I would argue, though, that I think we could still make the playoff. We would have to win every game. Yes, we could. Yes, we could. Who would they take if we won the American? All you got to do is finish in second place.
UNLV.
And why? UNLV almost lost yesterday to a bad team.
And
they should have.
If UNLV is undefeated or 1 loss, and we're 10-3, they're going to take you.
Okay, so let me move on to my next point. As long as there's FanDuel, all games matter. I'll say that. And then my third point.
Technically, hold on, JR. Technically, could we still make the playoff?
Yes.
First of all, I don't care. I mean, let me rephrase it. Of course, I care, but that's not why I'm watching Pirate football. 2, could we? Yeah, if we won out, beat a ranked Memphis team, and then let's say at that point South Florida was in the championship and they were up to number 15, and then we beat them and we're 10-3, then yes. But we would need things to fall right in the Mountain West with UNLV.
Sure.
I think that's going to be our only competition. It's going to be the American champion UNLV. Boise ain't getting back into the discussion.
No, they're not.
And Old Dominion, that hoax
They
was over yesterday.
yeah, they took themselves out yesterday. Hey, Dave, I want to support your point though. When SEC teams lose, what I do before the AP poll comes out, I spend my Sunday mornings doing my own AP poll, trying to guess how it's going to be, and I'm never right because I think I do it like the way it should be, and they don't drop the SEC teams. And I'm an SEC fan. I hate to say that, but I am because I hate the Big Ten. But they never drop teams from the Big Ten and the SEC that lose. Oklahoma had a bad loss, and they didn't drop them far enough. Missouri lost to Alabama. That was a good game, but they still lost, and they only dropped them a couple places. And I know it was Alabama, but there were teams that deserved to be ahead of Missouri at that point, and they didn't get that opportunity because they're not in the
Alabama
SEC.
play this coming weekend? I remember seeing that.
Tennessee, Rocky Top.
Yeah, is that in Knoxville?
You know what, Kyle? I don't even know.
I think
I'm not
it
sure.
is. I think it is, but I could be wrong.
I hope it is.
I'll look it up real quick and be able to.
And they should invite UAB's coach that just got fired, Trent Dilfer. They should invite him on the sidelines to take it all in.
It's that Alabama.
Is that Alabama? Okay.
I did have something I wanted to talk about too, you guys. And Stevie, I need your help on this, but all you guys. But another thing, I'll tell you what I'm sick and tired of hearing about, and you guys probably know where I'm going with this. I am sick and tired of hearing about North Carolina football and Belichick. I know I'm bringing it up.
Don't even bring that up, Dave. I
think it's hysterical.
It is funny because I look at all the people before the season started and thought this was going to be the savior, and Carolina was going to be a national championship contender. And I said from the start, this ain't gonna work.
No.
He can be and really. And people will probably say, well, you're a Steelers fan. You saying this is probably just because you hate him. Was he really that great of an NFL coach, or was Tom Brady that? And it troubles me to say it because I'm not a Brady fan, but was Tom Brady that great of a quarterback? Because what the heck did Brady do after, or what did Brady do after he left Belichick, and then what did Belichick do after Brady left?
Yeah, great point, Stevie.
Yeah, and here's the thing: Stevie, they have, check this out. So I want to get your thoughts, Kyle. You can help me on this. So I'm trying to do as quick as I can. So they paid him $10 million a year for 5 years. That's the contract. So $50 million. They put his son is coaching, waiting. Why would you do that? They have spent $20 million on the players. They have like 70 new players. If you look at everything, that it's been an absolute disaster. And now, Kyle, my understanding, y'all help me on this. The buyout is $40 million. I think it drops down to 20 in January, if my memory serves me correct.
Yeah, it looked to me like they were trying to fire him with calls this week with a lot of stuff that was coming out. But
I think they were trying and realized they probably.
The AD kind of, oh no, we're behind Belichick.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it's hysterical. I'm glad they're in that situation. I hope they have to pay him all $50 million, or $20 million, or whatever it is, and then they can go hire. Stevie had an interesting suggestion for the next week. I'm not gonna embarrass Stevie like that. But,
no, I thought it was funny. That's why I was saying.
it was really funny.
It was really funny because I mixed up a name.
Dave, the unfortunate thing about this for Bubba Cunningham is, as the AD, he didn't sign off on this. He didn't want Belichick, but now he's going to have to figure out a way to clean up the mess.
Right. I forgot about that, Johnny. You're right.
Yeah, he didn't. This wasn't his plan.
Yeah,
and
this is. And another thing.
Well, their next head coach. I'm going to predict it now. That's what I was trying to say here a second ago. Ed Ogeron.
Oh man, that would be fun. And I'm a Coach O fan. Oh, that's funny.
Could you imagine that?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yesterday on game day, I love college game day, and for the life of me, I know that Nick Saban is a disciple of Belichick. I know that, but the guy says this shows, and I'm not anti-Saban. I don't really care. I'm not a hater. So let me just say that. But the guy looks at the camera and goes, "Well, he's got to have a chance to get his players." No, you don't understand. That's why you're on game day. The fact of the matter is, they microwaved the team because they felt like that's the way that you have to do things now. And they had a whole bunch of talent. They have a whole bunch of talent issues. They've got a lot of problems behind the scenes. But we don't, in this day and age of college football, you don't have 4 or 5 years like we grew up with. That's not the way. Maybe y'all, how do y'all feel?
It's not going to get better. It's not.
Nope.
I think Saban was just saying what he had to say because that's Belichick is, a mentor of his. I don't think anybody realistically thinks this is going to get better at Carolina.
I know a lot of Carolina people. I don't have one person that went to Carolina right now that has texted me that says, "Dave, you're way out of your mind." They're actually, usually you have people that will defend the Tar Heels till no end, right? But this particular case with Belichick, there were a lot of Carolina fans that were not for this. I think this was a lot of would you guys say board of trustees or somebody that had pie in the sky?
It's money people, big boosters.
Yep.
Big boosters, and they
Splash. They want to make a splash.
They saw his
Yeah.
ability. They saw his ability to recruit 23-year-old females, and realized it doesn't translate to 23-year-old males.
Kyle, do you think that this is going to maybe affect the way that people give large sums of money to the program after they just shelled out all this money, and they're not only
specifically?
No, I'm being Carolina specific, yeah, but it would apply to other schools as well, per case.
I think I don't know. The whole giving thing's being changed anyway. Was it at Indiana? No, Stanford. Somebody just gave $50 million, and they gave it straight to the athletic department to give to revenue sharing versus NIL. So giving is changing anyway. I think for Carolina specifically, man, I don't know. You just gave all this money on Belichick. If I was the Tar Heels, what I would do at this point, whenever you get out of this deal with Belichick, what I would do is look for a good, young, offensive-minded coach
right
at a Group of 5 school or a Power 5 school that pays less than Carolina, and hire him. And quit trying to make these. Well, I wonder who else's grandpa they can friggin' hire. You got Mac Brown, and then you got Bill Belichick. You're gonna bring in Saban next. Look, they can keep doing it because I hope Carolina's bad till the end of time. I hope they hire the ghost of Joe Paterno. But at this point,
what about Barry Switzer?
At this point, hire a young, up-and-coming, offensive-minded coach. Or, I'll tell you, and God knows I don't want to give Carolina any advice. Maybe I shouldn't even say this. But you know who would be a good fit at Carolina based on his personality and the kind of guy he is? And I think it would probably work, but he's probably going to want a year off. He just got fired, Coach Franklin. I think Coach Franklin would probably be a really good fit at Carolina. Probably needs a year off. So if they give Belichick another year, that could happen. Not that I want to give Carolina or any advice, but that's what I'd do. If I was them, I would just hire a good, young, offensive-minded coach or somebody like Franklin.
And get better talent evaluators, because I feel like if the Dirty Foot Club would have stolen Luke Mullet and our coaching staff and given them $20 million, they would have a much better team. They have no team speed whatsoever. It's embarrassing.
They went after a guy from Holy Cross. No offense to Holy Cross, but you're UNC, and I'm not a UNC fan at all. But they've done a lot of stuff like that makes absolutely no sense.
Well, there's nothing wrong with going after somebody from Holy Cross if he's a talented player. I don't think they did. They don't know how to develop the players. Look, when you get play, they don't know how to coach college players.
Oh, wait a minute,
players aren't developed.
Alan Vick's got a suggestion for you, Kyle.
Let's hear it.
Lou Holtz to UNC. Lou Holtz.
That may be their next hire. That may be their next hire.
You have to be.
I want to tell you.
Well, you have to be at least 70 years old.
Dame by nurse.
Uh-oh. John says Bill Belichick's girlfriend Jordan Hudson entered the transfer portal. Oh man, I hadn't heard that one.
That wouldn't surprise me, actually.
Yeah, no doubt. And
I wouldn't. I mean, he still got money, right?
yeah. Well, here's the thing. Our very own our friend Patrick Johnson made a great point.
Well, the good thing is, if she does enter the transfer portal, he can easily pick up another player.
Hey,
It won't be
Dave,
hard.
hold
It
on a
won't be hard
minute.
to find another
Yeah.
23-year-old
Yeah,
female who wants some money.
Hold on, Dave. You can't just go to the next subject. Don put up a very important message there, and we didn't even read it or anything. Thank you, Don.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. It helps the algorithm. Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
thanks, Don. We appreciate that. Like and
Absolutely.
subscribe on Facebook and YouTube, and it'll help the algorithm, and it helps us.
He said Bill Belichick is interesting, but what will be our game plan against Tulsa? Well, Bill, we have our preview coming up. I'm glad you asked that question because we have that show coming up on Wednesday night, our preview, and our preview is going to be at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night. And we'll have our good friend Brian North. I don't want to say old friend, but I've been friends with him since 1998. And so he'll be with us.
Brian North, where did that come from?
That's a good get.
From WCTI.
I know who Brian North is. I just didn't know where that came from. I thought of Brian North. I mean,
Yeah, he's going to be with us on Wednesday night. I sent y'all a text earlier in the day. You didn't see it?
No, I didn't see it. I was busy doing other things.
Good work, Dave. Good work.
Brian, is Brian North still doing sports? Last I heard, he had moved over to the news desk.
He does both, and he'll be with us at 8:30. He's a great dad, and
Brian North's a good dude. I'm not saying anything against Brian North. It just seems out of left field. I always like Brian North. He's very knowledgeable about football. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's going to be with us at 8:30. So we'll have a Tulsa guest to be named later. So we're working on that. And the first guest.
I'm going to get the ghost of Don Williams.
Okay, living on Tulsa time. Quick preview of early Tulsa preview. The Pirates are 3-3. They're 2-4.
JR, what are you seeing out of Tulsa? Somebody wants us to give an early preview of what do you see? What are Tulsa's strengths and weaknesses? To me, they can't score. They play good defense to simplify it.
Yeah, I mean, they're good at passing defense. They're 5th out of 14 teams. And Kyle, I really can't find a whole lot else to give them props about.
Now, are they good on passing defense because they can't stop the run? Does everybody just run it off?
Yeah, no, they're not great against the run. So, that's a good medicine for us. So hopefully we can exploit that.
JDB's probably excited. He can run the ball 85 times.
Here's a guys really quick. I was going to tell you the keys of the game.
No, this will be the game. He keeps trying to air it out.
Oh, God. Talking about the Pirates, a fast start for the O-line to protect Hauser, limit penalties, and Johnny, to add your point, exploit Tulsa's run defense.
Yes.
So their defense is very, very bad. And anyway.
Well, here's the thing.
Their run defense is very bad. Their pass defense is pretty good.
No matter what team we speak of about being bad at something in the American, none of them are ever as bad as Charlotte is. They're like at the bottom of every category. It's amazing.
You hush, JR. You hush.
I know. Believe me. But did you see, Kyle? They went from quarterback 2 to quarterback 3, and then in the third quarter, they brought quarterback 2 back in, and he actually outperformed. Quarterback 3 is a 0. That guy's not going to. He's not the answer.
I actually thought early in that game he looked okay. I saw him play some at Southern Miss. I don't know. I don't know what their answer is. I really hope they don't figure it out. But yeah, Army blowing Charlotte out. Army's blown out their last 2 opponents since we beat them.
Hey, I will say this. I'm glad the transfer portal many times is my enemy, but this time I'm happy that Deshaun Purdy is in Wake Forest and not at Charlotte because he's balling.
Hey, by the way, guys, did you see?
He's playing very well.
Did you guys see the announcement? What is it? Is it January 5th or 12th? But they announced the one-time transfer portal will be the beginning of January.
Yeah.
We talked about that. We talked about that the other night with Corey.
Yeah,
but I wanted to. God Almighty, I had something I was going to bring up, and I totally freaking lost it because of that right there. Damn, what was it? It was a point I wanted to make. I was going to make it the other day when we had Corey on, and decided to save it for tonight. And now I just lost it again. Thanks, Dave. What in the hell was it? I don't know. Keep talking. Maybe it'll come back.
Well,
All right.
he was mentioning now I don't even know. Never mind. Let's move on.
Okay. Did you guys before we get out
Got
of
it. Wake Forest.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Wake Forest. All right. So in 2026 or 2027, it's the 27. I'm sorry. It's the year we start playing Wake Forest, or it's the year we start playing Wake Forest. The year we play Wake Forest, 27. ACC is going to 9 conference games that year. I'm telling right now, man, I don't know what the buyout is on that game, but Gilbert needs to be doing everything he can right now to make sure Wake Forest, they're going to have to drop a non-conference game. They're going to have to drop somebody. Everybody in the ACC is. I believe that starts in 27, if I'm not mistaken. They go to 9.
it's coming up.
So we
Right.
better make damn sure Wake Forest is not the game that gets dropped. And if it is, it needs to be dropped sooner than later, because we don't need to be replacing them, have 2 FCS schools on the schedule, or Delaware or something like that.
Please, God.
You need to get App State in here, or you need to get on the phone, because the Pac-12 is going to be doing the opposite. With only 7 conference games, they're going to be playing 5 non-conference games, and with less and less power schools to choose from, ACC, SEC, Big Ten, non-conference games, there's going to be a lot of Pac-12 schools looking for. So if we lose Wake, it'd be nice to get Oregon State or Washington State or Boise or somebody like that in here to replace them. So I'm going to encourage John Gilbert to get on the phone with Wake Forest now, if he hasn't already. And look, if you're going to drop this game, you need to drop it now, and demand whatever the full buyout is, so we can get an appropriate opponent in here to replace them. I don't want to start any rumors that we're not going to be playing Wake in 27, but they are going to have to drop a non-conference game.
Guys, looking around the American really quick as far as the standings. You have Tulane that's 2-0, Memphis 2-0, UTSA 1-1, and same for East Carolina 1-1. Navy and Tulsa, Navy's 1-2, and Tulsa's 0-2. So
Navy's not
Navy's
4-0.
Navy's 4-0.
They have 1-2 here in the conference.
That's Navy's
What
undefeated.
year is that?
I don't know.
Navy's undefeated.
Let me look back.
Yeah, they played 4 conference games already.
Yeah, they're 6-0 on the season.
Okay.
Hey, can I throw out a quick Navy stat?
Sure.
I found this impressive. Maybe somebody else will as well. So Blake Horvath has 640 yards rushing so far after 6 games.
Okay.
Caton Hauser, Parker Jenkins, London Montgomery, and Marlon Gunn combined have 644.
Wow. That's what Navy does, and Blake Horvath is really good at it.
Wow. All right. Do you guys have anything before we get out of here?
Need to get the offense going Thursday. If Saturday will be too late. Need to get the offense going Thursday. We need to put up some big numbers. I just win the game, but I'd like to see us at least break 38 points Thursday night. But again, just win the game. If it's 24-21, but really would like to see the offense get going.
Yep, I agree.
What about you, Stevie?
Yeah, we really need to get the offense going. I'm like Kyle. I think the line's a little too high, but maybe the offense can get going and we'll cover that. But I want to throw this out here too for all you guys out there listening. Make sure tomorrow you take the time to celebrate Kyle from LaGrange's birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday, Kyle. Early.
Appreciate it, Stevie. Appreciate it.
Call your congressmen, call your senators, and tell them to make it a national. It should be a national.
I'm gonna tell somebody.
Early happy birthday to Kyle from LaGrange, my friend. Appreciate you.
I appreciate it
so much. And I'll tell you what, we're very excited again about Wednesday night, because we'll have Brian North plus we'll have our Pirate preview. Make sure that we hadn't said this a long time, Kyle, but make sure that you like, subscribe. There's all kinds of, we're on pretty much every platform. And so make sure you check us out there.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on X, subscribe on YouTube. We are not doing anything on our TikTok channel. I need to get on that and start uploading to that. I'll get that information from Bubba, and I'll start putting some stuff out on TikTok.
Is that
And Truth Social account coming soon. We're going to put Matt in charge of that.
There you go. Hey, I have a request for Brian North.
okay?
Is there any way we can do a short segment, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, with Stevie and Brian talking about high school football in Eastern North Carolina?
Yeah, because
Stevie can cover Southern Virginia also.
Oh, what about Northern Virginia, Kyle? I mean,
Well, we'll let JR handle that.
oh,
yeah,
See, the
right.
joke isn't funny anymore because JR is actually in Northern Virginia. So
See?
it really
See what
doesn't
you
work
done?
anymore.
See what
Now I
you
just
done?
got to say you're from Emporia.
It's on fire.
So fire.
he lives near the truck stop, the Sadler truck stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does kinda.
They have good banana pudding there, Dave.
They do.
They have some of the best.
I've never tried that. I'll have to do that.
Yeah.
I usually, if I stop in Emporia, it's always at that truck stop. One more thing, I promise, and we'll get out of here. Last night was the 50th anniversary of Saturday Night Live. They started 50 years ago. If y'all have any quick memories, and we'll get out of here, I promise.
Saturday Night's Live. Yeah. I got a
Captain
lot of memories.
Broccoli.
From each era. I love the Blues Brothers stuff from the 70s, and then from the 80s, Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood,
Eddie Murphy.
The Church Lady, Wayne's World, and then you get into the 90s, and love everything Adam Sandler did, from the Hanukkah song to the Thanksgiving song. Some of the stuff him and Chris Farley did, like Lunchroom Ladyland, Grandma Babysitting Service. You had Norm Macdonald, who absolutely loved Norm Macdonald, R.I.P.
Brilliant.
His stuff when he did the Weekend Update. This is the fake news. I love Norm Macdonald. God, there's so much. You bring up Saturday Night Live, I can go on and on and on. Even to the Will Ferrell area with the cheerleaders, and I am not a Jimmy Kimmel fan. Not Jimmy Kimmel, but Jimmy Fallon. I think Jimmy Fallon's one of the least funny people alive.
Amen.
But the stuff he did, where him and his girlfriend were from Boston. The one episode where Britney Spears was up there, I thought that was hysterical. I'm trying to go by era. If you guys can't tell, I'm kind of going from era to era. But yeah, Saturday Night Live to me is best in the '90s. Second, and there was good stuff in the '70s and '80s too. In the last 25 years, it's been very hit or miss.
I agree. I loved Garrett Morris when he would do the news for the hearing impaired, and he would just yell.
I do like the weekend updates, but they still doing it with the black guy and the white guy, where they do the racial stuff. That's good. Those two guys are good. Yeah, they're good. They're good. And I also like Keenan.
Kelly? No, Wayans.
No, not Keenan Wayans.
Keenan Robinson.
Yeah, I like it because I've been watching him since I was a kid.
Whatever his name is.
Keenan Thomas.
The
Good Burger. Welcome to the Burger. That guy.
The Beavis and Butthead skit they did a while back, where I think it was Jake Gyllenhaal was the guest host, and he was one of them. Yeah. That was hilarious. That was the funniest thing I've seen on there in a while. What's that girl's name? Kate. She's off the show now. Gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Thompson.
No, not Kate Thompson. But she was hilarious when she was up there. I'm like Kyle. Everything Adam Sandler did when he was on there was great. Him and Chris Farley. And the originals were great. I mean,
Debbie Chase, Eddie Murphy.
And also one thing you didn't bring up, Kate McKinnon. That's it. Thank you, John White. And Alan Vick. The Buckwheat has been shot skits they did back in the 80s when they really did. I think it was Joe Piscopo. It was Ted Koppel.
Yeah, Buckwheat's been shot. Yeah,
Buckwheat's been shot. Let's roll the video.
And now, Deep Thoughts from Jack Handy.
Yeah,
that was great stuff. Some other good stuff. Deep Thoughts from Jack Handy. I used to love Toots the driving cat. Was
Oh,
the
yeah.
Toots is the driving
Toots is the
cat.
driving cat. Yes.
I bet you can't sing the song.
Toots
Toots
is the driving cat.
The cat that could
He
drive.
drive a car.
He drives around all over the
All over
town.
town. That's
Toots
right.
is the driving cat.
Yeah,
I would like to see Kyle and Stevie reprise the Two Wild and Crazy Guys, but instead of being from like Eastern Europe, they're from Eastern North Carolina.
Well, I couldn't do it because I'm from Southern Virginia, right, Kyle?
That's true. That's true. It would be.
I thought you were, Johnny. I thought you were going to.
Where'd you think I was going, Dave?
I thought one of my favorites from the late '80s, early '90s was Hans and Franz, and I thought,
build you up.
Yeah,
I want to pump you up.
Pump you up. Yeah.
Kyle and Stevie.
And then
I thought he was gonna try to get us to do the Dirty Dancing skit with Chris Farley and Patrick Swayze.
That was.
That's one of the ones I was going to talk
That was
the Chippendales.
Chippendales.
Where Stevie can be Patrick Swayze and I'll be Chris Farley. That'd be epic.
Now, every time I hear the song Loverboy Working for the Weekend, it automatically, my mind goes to that skit. Oh, my God. That was, that was.
And John Belushi with Cheeseburger, Cheap.
Yeah.
That was no Coke, Pepsi.
How about Steve Martin, where the most dangerous? There's a Christmas skit where he's like the most dangerous toys for 1982. Is one of the bag of glass.
He's awesome. A genius.
Yeah, I got that's one of the DVDs that I still might pop in at Christmas time is my Saturday Night Live Christmas compilation. It's got some good stuff up there.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. I wanted to mention that it's hard to believe 50 years, but it is makes sense. But anyway, we're going to get out of here. Final thoughts, guys, and looking forward to Thursday night. Hope I'll see. I wish I would see Stevie. Stevie, I would love to see you. But
Stevie's birthday is Thursday night.
Is it Thursday?
And I keep trying to tell him, and he's come on. We'll go out to dinner.
Hey, this week in October was a great week for America. Kyle and Stevie were born into this.
Hey, look! If you want to see Stevie at the game Thursday, just start a campaign. Stevie, come to the game Thursday. He claims he can't because he's got to get up to go to work early Friday. I call BS on that.
I do.
What time
do you do?
I'll have to be at work at 6 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, that is kind of rough because you have to go all the way to Northern Virginia.
Well, leave in the third quarter.
I'm gonna go to a game. I'm gonna stay for the whole game, dude.
Yeah.
Well, then just suck it up and be sleepy Friday.
Take a lot of drink a couple Monster Energy drinks and you'll be good.
I can't do them Monster Energy drinks. I'm sorry.
Well, do some cocaine.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Dave, I have a closing statement.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so last week's guest, Dickie Carrata.
Yes,
I read his book, I'm a Pirate, and it was way. I don't even want to. I was going to say it's way better than I thought. I thought it was going to be good, but it was just such a great work that it's really hard to put down. I know people say that about books, but in this case, I felt like a better Pirate fan after I read it. And I'm sure if anybody out there is interested in Pirate football or baseball, if you read it, you'll probably feel the same way. I would highly suggest it. Highly suggest it.
I thought it was interesting that on our Facebook page where Dave promoted it, one of the people that commented was Rajay Harris.
Yeah, he wrote
a foreword.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I did not realize that. What is their relationship?
I don't know.
He said something about that in the interview, but I can't remember. I'm tired. I can't remember what it was.
I've been meaning to reach out to Rajay. Last year, we talked after the ball performance, and first I got things straight with Rajay's dad way before that, and then me and Rajay talked a couple times after the bowl game, and so we need to get Rajay up here. And maybe he can give us some thoughts on what he thinks the offense's problem is. That
would be great. And by the way, Johnny, I got that. He sent it before, but I forgot to check my mail this week. I was slack. But Dick, I did get the book. I'm going to reach out to him. He wrote a really nice note in the book to me. It meant a lot. I'm sure he did for you, Johnny.
He told me that he liked me better than you. I shouldn't.
Oh yeah, well, I would
say
agree
that out loud, but
I agree.
Said, yeah. Yeah. No, I'm hoping to hook up with him at the tailgate on Thursday.
Ooh.
No, I mean, so he can sign. I have a couple people that want his book, and I asked him if he would sign them.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I was not feeling well. It wasn't even physical; it was more mental. I was not having a good night that night, and I came on late and talked a little football. I was actually on the phone with Stevie during my interview, just trying to get my mind right. Some personal things are going on, so that was nothing against Dickie, but I think sometimes an interview like that, particularly when you're talking about a book, sometimes less is more anyway. So probably just you two doing it was probably better anyway. But need to pick up a copy of it at UBE.
Yeah.
And it appears to be, everybody
Hey.
says good things about it.
Yeah.
Hey, Kyle, I will ask him though what the connection with Rajay is, because I'm kind of interested myself. So I'll ask him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate the cameo from Matt. Miss him. I don't know what happened to Matt, but we miss him for the rest of the show. And thanks to everybody. Big night as always, guys, watching and listening. And we'll get this podcast out to you in a matter of minutes. Guys, looking forward to Thursday night. We'll have a preview on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Brian North and a Tulsa guest to be named later. And we'll see you next time. Go Pirates.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.